good. All right, I'll call the meeting to order and we'll have the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call of members.
Trustee Champlain.
Here.
Trustee Malinsky.
Here.
Trustee Connor.
Here.
Trustee Herzog.
Here.
Mayor McFetrich.
Here. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
Any corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Presentation of petitions, communications, and general question period for members of the community. Sure. Welcome, Tom.
Hi, for the camera, this is Thomas Trombley, and here tonight as town supervisor. You all were copied with the letter that I wrote, and I provided you with all the data. I trust that you will be fair in your choices. As you can see, I made one recommendation that I think is the easiest to deal with and the most fair. So basically there was two misfortunes here, right? One was all these years that meter's been in the wrong accounting bracket, the wrong fund. It was in the A fund, which it shouldn't have been. It was listed as a lighting district. Therefore, I need to repay that, as I have in the past with other things that have been discovered since I took office. We've even had residents that had to make substantial payments in order for us to balance and repay and get ourselves completely in the black. And that's basically what needs to be done here. And that part is nothing to do with the village at all, but then discovering that what we thought was the norm this whole time of each of us paying for an individual tank was not true. And as you can see, the less service road tank with that mixer uses a lot of electricity. So as my recommendation says, what I would consider the cleanest way to do this would be for you to just take over that meter in regards to billing, which you would have to request. I've spoke with NICEAG on how that would be done. The town can't initiate it. The village would simply have to call NICEAG and request, give them the meter number, and request that billing. That would get us back to where we thought we were since late 2017. As you know, I was on this board when we built that O&M spreadsheet and worked hard to settle that IMA and get it revised. And at that time, we questioned the tanks, but we working on the spreadsheet, the water board, were both told that no, we were already paying for the tank on Prospect. And the town was like, yeah, we're paying for West Service Road, so that's why it was never addressed.
I can't find that in writing, Tom.
What's that?
The decision that, I remember discussing about the tanks, that each one would take one, but I can't find anything in writing about the electricity.
No, there isn't, because it was never addressed, because we were told it doesn't matter because we're paying that tank already.
Yeah, I just can't find it. Who decided? I called Greg and he doesn't remember it either.
No, it would have been, Juanita would have been involved in the discussion when we built the spreadsheet. That's why it didn't go in, neither tank went in the O&M.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking about the, let's see, you phrased it well here. That both municipalities believed that the Prospect Street tank was being paid by the village of Champlain and the West Service Road tank was being paid by the town, but I can't find where that was ever discussed.
Not in writing, it was discussed as a water board member revising the IMA and creating the O&M spreadsheet. You may have been involved in it, but it was, when we built that, it was a lot of hours sitting with Juanita going over what needs to be included.
So did the two clerk treasurers, are they the ones who said it?
I don't believe Sarah was involved in
No,
that.
no, it would have been
No.
prior to Sarah, I believe.
I don't know when Sarah came on board.
Yeah, when we first revised that, yes, it was just before she was hired. But no, it was.
So it would have been Jane West and Juanita if they spoke about it.
Yeah, basically Jane or that office assured us that they were paying only for the West Service, and then here I was told that no, we are already paying for that tank, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But
Hence
unfortunately,
the reason it never went in.
what you've been paying on is your old one.
Yeah, I understand, I just thought maybe I could find something in minutes where maybe
No.
this
it wouldn't
board
been
might have
minutes.
discussed
No.
that, you know, we would be paying for that tank, and I can't find anything.
Yeah.
No, there wasn't anything.
Because it slipped through the cracks and was never formally discussed from day one.
Okay, all right. Okay, do you think it should be, formalized in terms of maybe including it in the, maintenance agreement that we have for those water tanks, and also have something about electricity will be, like, really put it into something? Cause we did 2022, we did do the maintenance agreement for the tanks, which cleared up a few things.
Yes, but you're not as one of the examples, I think it was example B, I can't remember. You don't wanna put it in the contract.
No, I'm
you
not
just-
talking about O&M, I'm talking about how the tanks are covered.
Yes, that's B, I was right. So in that one, I mean, we could,
I'm not
We
saying
could
adding the
notate it.
cost, I'm saying,
I can't see why we couldn't make it. So are you referring to if you went with A and you took over the meter,
yeah,
right? And we
Mhm.
balance the books, take over the meter.
mhm.
That could be I can't see why we couldn't just make that an addendum attached to the IMA.
Just what's in writing.
I think
It needs to, I feel
I
it
don't
needs to
think
be
it
in
needs to
writing,
be
and we're
in the
not
water-
always going to, with whatever, however many years we have left on this,
Good,
it's a
quite a few.
30-year thing.
23.
Yeah,
Good if you.
23, okay,
23
we won't,
years left.
we won't all be here in
Yeah.
23 years.
So we could do an addendum to the O&M.
I don't see why we couldn't, and just, it would be attached.
I think it needs to
That
be,
way you're not opening up the document, you're just doing an addendum and
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
attaching
I
it.
do not wanna open the document. It
no,
took
but
too
it
long
needs to be
get that
formalized
finished.
somehow.
Right, so we could do an addendum at the end of the contract.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm. Specifying
Being-
who's
being
paying
very
for which
specific.
tank and which meter.
mhm.
Which I would think the water board, that would be one of your recommendations,
Yes.
that we do that, and it would be an easy addendum.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, it could, like my other option says, it could be put in O&M, but it gets very convoluted having to cross invoice everything.
Yeah, that's,
You
that
know.
seems like a
I don't
lot.
think that doing that makes sense, because now you're gonna have somebody invoicing, and now you gotta wait, and just everybody paying for their own, I think, makes
Yeah.
the most sense.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. I know we've just kind of pulled this right out of the new business, but as long as we're talking and we've
Right,
got
yeah.
Tom here, I think, you know,
Yeah.
let's
It's,
continue with this.
it's
you know.
unfortunate, but I think we have to do what we have to do and pay the, whatever, that $4,500 and some dollars.
$4,565.
Yeah,
Right. And 'cause
just to
right
make
after,
things right.
thank you, that's
Uh,
what we've all been doing.
Not
Right
sure where
along.
we get it from, but
Well, we'll just have to figure that out.
Well, we're getting ready to close your books, and maybe it's a good time to pull it from and water fund.
Yeah.
That's where
That's where it's gonna
Has to
come
come
from. That's where it
Yeah.
has to come
Oh,
from.
that's where it has to come from.
Yeah, it has to come from there, but we'll figure that out. Yeah. I think I just would like it formally put as an addendum in that.
Okay, so,
Do we need a motion?
Yeah, we're gonna,
Yeah, we're gonna expend funds.
yeah, do you wanna make?
I'll make the motion that we pay the $4,565.40 under option A of the letter from the town of Champlain for electrical charges on the village tank on Prospect Street.
Okay.
Second.
Second, Kim?
Mm-hmm.
All right, other discussion or questions?
So,
Oh, go ahead.
the only other thing is that we will have to have Mary, like, immediately get in touch with NICEAG
Yeah.
to make sure that,
yes, please, because now we're still paying the bill,
Right.
just, we're doing it under the water fund now, but we're still paying the bill, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Well-
sooner the better. Mary, it should be just the 800 number.
Yeah.
Is what he, Corey, not Corey. Mr. Trombley, yeah.
Troy?
yes,
Troy, thank you.
I've heard
Troy
his name.
Trombley explained to me, and let him know what you're intending to do. I believe I'd given you the meter numbers before. If you don't have it, just give me a call, I'm sure I have it in my other file.
Yeah, I think I need it.
Yeah, you will need the meter
Mhm.
number, and I'll give you the address and everything, and the bill number. Do we want the water board to write the addendum, or do we want the town, myself, to, work that out and contact our attorney to find out how to attach it on, and if it's legal, et cetera?
yeah, and I can work with you on that, because I know how many things you've written and the lawyer looks at it and goes, oh, it's good, and you don't get charged for it, the way we would get charged if we had town and name to it.
Mhm.
So, yeah, if you wanna do that, and then I can work with you on that, and then I can present it to the water board, and we can get it attached.
Yeah, I think it needs to be approved through them, I think that'd be the right thing
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
please.
think too.
It's gotta run through you guys,
Yeah,
so I'll do a little bit of legwork, like talking to Matt, and make sure we're correct, that it's an easy way to fix this.
Right, because basically, we wrote the IMA pretty much,
mhm,
and then it just went for legal approval after.
right, mhm,
So, this shouldn't be anything that's, I mean, it's gonna be a paragraph that big if that.
it's probably
It's
gonna be
gonna
like
be-
2 sentences.
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically writing out what it's
Mhm.
gonna say, so it's gonna be very short and sweet, and hopefully it doesn't cost much.
Mhm. Okay.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor and a second, we need roll call.
Trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Malinsky,
Aye.
trustee Connor,
Okay,
trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Mayor McFetrich.
Aye. Thank you all, thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Anything else? We're still in this, our little public thing.
No, I can do it in email, we definitely have to, get together with Mike soon, make sure we have all the parts we need for that hydrant replacement, and try to schedule it.
Yeah, okay,
And I'd like to, do it soon before, your water project is going again, and
yeah,
next thing you know, it's October.
okay. Did he get prices to you? I thought he did.
You know, I got rough ballparks, but not from Mike.
Okay.
But it's not, the prices will be great, I really need to know if the hydrant has to be ordered, or do we have one in stock?
I don't think we have one in stock.
Okay, then we need to order one.
Yeah, I thought he was getting prices with a particular kind that you needed.
I'm assuming we're
You
gonna
haven't seen any, you
I'm
haven't seen
assuming we're gonna
anything?
standardize what's throughout the district, right?
Yeah, he said it's different than what was there.
Yeah, definitely, yeah,
But
definitely.
yes,
All
yeah.
those have to be replaced
Right,
at some time,
okay,
as they go bad.
okay.
so I can put the bill in there. Payments.
Anything else?
No, that's all, thank you.
Okay. Report from the code enforcement officer. Chris, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You all should have 3 reports: inspections for the month, permits for the month, and violations. If anyone has questions on any of that, I can answer those quickly. I know it's not often that I hear.
Just wanna thank you for getting people to remove that debris on Church Street.
We're trying. We're trying. And I guess while we're looking at reports and talking about violations, I'll hit one point I wanted to talk about tonight, which was the property downtown on Main Street, the knockdown building. I don't know if you're all aware, that has been in court for close to a year now, I wanna say.
Yeah.
The owner of that property just pled guilty and was fined $4,000, and that ends the court case. So no real resolution right now with getting it cleaned up. It is up for tax auction, so right now, I talked to the mayor, kinda waiting to see what happens at tax auction. If it gets sold, we kinda start the process all over again with the new owner. If they don't pick it up and comply, we can try and go through to have us do it and the county reimburse us through taxes. They'll be assessed their taxes. If it doesn't sell, not really sure of next step, because if we go through the process and try and get it put on his taxes, he's already not paying his taxes, and that's why it's up for tax auction. So, kind of a fluid situation to see if it sells at tax auction or not. But that's where that's at right now. We did recoup a little bit of fine payments for it, in case the village ever is responsible or decides the village wants to pick it up. That wasn't what we were hoping for, a fine amount, but it was something. So that's where that property's at right now. I know it's a eyesore, I hate looking at it, I know everyone else does. But there's only so much we really can do until we can get some progress on it through the courts or through taxes or something.
Now, that $4,000 fine, where does that money go
To the village,
to the village?
yes. Yep, it will not cover the costs for the village to remove that.
No.
We don't have a new quote now that it's been on the ground, I don't believe. But still, to haul that material away would be much more than $4,000, let alone the labor to load it, if we choose to have a company do it and not just the village employees. So that's an update on that. Nobody has questions on any of the reports. I just have 3 kind of reminders to residents of the village. The village does have a code for grass height. 6 inches is the max. I started writing violations today for that. I like to give a little bit of time. I know people plant grass seed, want their lawns to grow a little bit. I get it, I do the same thing. But there's some getting out of control. So just as a reminder, 6 inches is the maximum height for grass. If residents get a violation notice and you cut it, I'll see it, the case will be resolved, nothing further is gonna happen. If they don't get resolved, it will be a ticket, just like any other code violation. Second thing I had is recreational fire permits will come out this month. The board will pick a date for those, usually May to October. I think we talked about putting it online for people to get a copy online, fill it out, drop it off here. I'll do a quick inspection to make sure it meets all the requirements, distances from houses, structures, water source outside. And this is only for recreational fires, so campfires, not for burning piles of brush or bonfires. This is an outdoor family sit around campfire. But you do need a recreational fire permit for that. There's no charge to it. Just fill the form out, I'll sign off on it, and then you're all set to go. The other reminder, last reminder I have is permits are needed for roofs and pools. I know this is something not a lot of people are aware of, so a lot of times when they're going up without a permit, people just don't know. If you're re-roofing your house, putting new shingles on, tin over shingles, it does need a building permit. If you're putting any sort of pool in, even the inflatable ones or the quick assemble ones from Sam's Club, if it's higher than 24 inches off the ground, the sides, it does need a permit. please put a permit in, they're online on the village website or the town website, it can all be done online, payments can be done through the online system. You'll receive your permit through the online system, get the inspections that are required, get your certificate of occupancy or completion for that, and you're all set to go. If any residents get a violation notice, just email or call me. I'll walk you through the process of getting the permit, and the violation will be resolved. That is all I had for my report tonight.
Yes, Chris. And because we have you here, and you're also a firefighter, let's move the Knox box local law up, and you can just explain to the board how that works and the advantages, the importance of it, if you
Yeah.
don't mind.
Sure, so I think this started with a letter from Champlain Fire District.
Yes.
So, if anyone's not familiar with a Knox box, it's basically a small metal lock box on the outside of the building. Inside is a key or a key code, some way to access the building. The only keys that open those are locked inside the fire engines, and they can only be accessed and unlocked from dispatch through the radio system. So, these businesses that have them, they never have to worry about the key being stolen. You can't get into them, they're tamper-proof. Not everybody has a key to them. Basically what they do is they allow the fire department access before a key holder gets there. So buildings that have sprinkler systems, fire alarm systems, middle of the night, alarm goes off, fire department shows up. If you don't have a Knox box, the only option is to wait for a key holder to show up, or for the fire department to break your door down, which the fire department has every single right to enter for an emergency. Obviously that's costly. If you have a sprinkler system and there's an alarm for water flow and you have a broken pipe, that set it off. If fire department waits 20-30 minutes for a key holder, that's also expensive with the damage happening. So it really is to protect the businesses. It assists the fire department in getting in if there is an emergency, but also if there's an issue inside the building that's not really an emergency but can cause damage, it allows the fire department to get in and take care of what needs to happen, whether it's shutting off water, resetting the system, or finding an actual fire. It works for medical emergencies too. Some places have them in senior centers. It just grants them access, and you can put any keys you want in there. So front door, back door, if you have locked areas inside like electrical rooms, that key can be placed in there. And again, it's locked in the fire truck in a key lock that's only accessible when dispatch in Plattsburgh opens it for us. And you have to give your name, who you are, why you're requesting it. So it's not like people can just get in, take the key, and go into a building. So I know, I can't remember the letter asked for, if it was all businesses. I know a lot of places just require them if it's a business that has a sprinkler system, has a fire alarm system, isn't staffed 24/7. I mean, some places, if they're Maple Fields, for instance, open 24 hours a day, we're never worried about getting access to a place like that. So there are some exceptions to who needs them. I think there's a lot of businesses here, such as warehouses, that already have them. So it wouldn't be a ton of businesses if we decide to make this a local law. It's not every business in the village has to go out and buy this system. It is a couple $100s to do. All they have to do is go on the Knoxbox website. Champlain Fire Department is registered on there. They type in their address, they choose Champlain, and then they go through the whole process with the fire commissioners and the fire chiefs of Champlain from the online system and get registered. You know, it's a very simple process. It's not super expensive, and it definitely is less expensive than having a water pipe burst in the middle of the night and have your entire inventory ruined because the fire department can't gain access, or replacing doors or windows that they force open.
Is it a one-time cost for the actual box, or is there like a subscription thing where?
There's a one-time cost for the box. I don't believe there's a subscription, but
Okay.
I don't want to say that definitively.
Okay, I just,
I don't-
as a
yeah.
small business
I don't
owner, just
think there
wondered.
is.
So I was thinking for the library.
Yeah,
Yeah, and depending on the direction you write it, it wouldn't be all businesses.
right,
You know, your coffee shop doesn't have a sprinkler system.
correct.
You know, you may be exempted from it. These larger warehouses that have sprinkler systems, fire alarm systems, if they don't have one, would probably have to put one in. Right now, the code only states that I can mandate it on new construction if I feel necessary, which we have been doing, because I'm a big fan of them. I think it helps fire department, it helps the business. But But if we put a local law in, it'll mandate it, you know, further than that code, and it won't be a question of why do I have to put it in.
Yeah, Chris does state in his letter that he's requesting the Knox box system on all commercial buildings.
Okay. Yeah, and I do think that can probably be exempted a little bit. I don't think all commercial, my personal opinion, I don't think all commercial need it. Like I said, big ones, sprinkler systems, fire alarm systems, but if you're staffed 24 hours a day, you know, McDonald's, Maple Fields, access can be granted,
Right.
there's people there constantly. So, but I definitely think it's something the village should do. I know the town is looking at doing it also. I believe we're gonna talk about this point about doing it.
Yeah, I think we should do it.
Yeah, it really is I know some businesses aren't gonna like the cost, a couple $100 up front, but overall, it will save them in the event of emergency, even if they only use it one time.
Yeah. And even if you were exempt, I assume you could opt in if you wanted to.
Absolutely, anybody, you could put one on your house if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it.
Okay. Right. What's the board think?
I think it's a good idea and that it's something that is good for the business owner and the fire department and the community. To me, it's a no-brainer.
Everyone feel that way? Okay, I agree. So we'll maybe work together somehow on that. Okay.
Sounds good. The town's probably gonna put one on too. On their building,
Yeah. Yeah.
so you might wanna consider it.
Yeah, and I would suggest if we do mandate it on all, even pre-existing buildings, we give them 6 months, 1 year to comply, which I would send letters out saying, hey, this is a new local law, send them a copy of the law, and have them work with the fire department to get it and check
Yeah.
it.
Okay, that sounds great. Any questions for Chris? Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
You can go if you want.
Another meeting.
Same here, thank you.
All right, yeah, thanks to you both.
Have a good night, everybody.
Right. All right, let's see here, we are on my report. All right, a little bit lengthy, but just lots to say. Good evening and welcome to the Village of Champlain Monthly Board of Trustees meeting. With the good weather upon us, many of you will be cleaning your yards, mowing and planting flowers. Please remember that brush pickup is through the month of May. Only brush that is 3 inches or less in diameter and 10 feet long or less will be picked up. There is a maximum of 1 pickup per household, and the brush should be stacked curbside so it can be loaded easily into the village truck. Bagged leaves and debris will not be picked up. Also, the burn ban is still active in the state. Tonight at this meeting, we will address lifting the village ban on small recreational campfires, and we will set the dates for that moratorium. We had a very successful Arbor Day celebration on April 26th. 2 trees were planted in the village. I thank Nikki Malinsky for organizing the kids' activities again this year. You have also probably noticed that several trees have been removed due to rot. I thank the village crew for doing that safely and quickly. The tree removal will continue when we begin the ash tree removal program. This is part of a grant which will have professionals come in with large equipment to remove the trees. With the loss of so many trees in the village, we will continue to plant more each year, and I encourage homeowners to also consider adding trees to their properties. A few congratulations are in order. Robert Pulsifer, the wastewater and water plants operator, has received his certification for a grade 3 technology module for wastewater treatment plant operator. Congrats to him on that achievement. Congratulations to the Champlain Moores EMS for hosting a very well-attended business after hours gathering. It was a pleasure to work with so many people. It was a pleasure to welcome so many people to our local EMS station. Congratulations to the Rouse's Point firemen Sean LeBombard and Charles LePan. The Champlain Fire Department also had their annual celebration Saturday night, where they recognized many dedicated individuals. I was fortunate to be invited to attend a North Country Chamber event with a number of Canadian businesses. This was an excellent networking experience where our strong ties to Canada were discussed. I also met with Aude Locher, Lake Champlain Sea Grant, Lake Champlain Research Institute, to discuss organizing a cleanup day along the banks of the Great Chazy River. We all know that there are many items in the water and along the sides which need to be removed. This will be done by volunteers, and we hope to hold this in the fall. The planning for America 250 commemoration has begun. This is the United States semi-quincentennial. Like that word?
Yeah.
Semi-quincentennial, celebrating the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The town of Champlain, with its 2 villages, will be working to organize a series of events. More details will follow on that. The comprehensive plan that the village of Champlain is doing with the town of Champlain is proceeding very well. The next community visioning will take place on May 22nd at 6 p.m. at the Parish Center on Church Street. I highly encourage the public to attend and participate. We really want to hear your ideas. So that's May 22nd at 6 p.m. at the Parish Center. Here are a number of events to put on your calendars. The annual St. Mary's Bazaar is on May 25th with the parade beginning at noon. Please support this iconic event. And actually I have something, if I can find it quickly, from Molly Ryan that she wants me to read, so I'll just go over to that. The St. Mary's Parade Committee is proud to announce the 56th Annual St. Mary's Memorial Day Parade taking place on Sunday, May 25th at noon. This year's theme, Neighbors Helping Neighbors, celebrates the spirit of community and mutual support that defines our parish and hometown pride. As always, the parade will feature veterans, first responders, local businesses, civic organizations, and special guests. Awards will once again be given in several top categories. So I hope everyone comes to see the parade and enjoy the bazaar. Let's see here. There will be a Champlain Village Arts Fest during the last weekend in May. On Friday, May 30th at 6:30 p.m., the Canadian group, the Co-Conspirators, will be performing at the Red Canoe Coffee and Books. The following day, the Champlain Meeting House will be hosting an art fair featuring works by locals of all ages on square-foot panels with the theme of the river. And finally, on Sunday, May 31st, there will be poetry shared by members of the community. That will take place at the Champlain Memorial Library. Those details will be available soon. There is certainly a lot going on in our little village. As always, if you have questions, concerns, or suggestions, please reach out to me to discuss them. My door is always open. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna take out the committee report on this. This is the old agenda. Is it the same, the new one?
I just added
Yeah,
the-
I'm gonna go down when it's down below, so we'll go right to the reports from the trustees. Kim?
So continuing to get ready for the water board, and again, for our discussion with the supervisor, I'll work with him on creating that addendum to the IMA, and get that implemented as soon as possible. And the fun part of starting the report comes.
Thank you for doing that. Anything else?
No, that's,
I mean, that's plenty.
yeah, kind of my main focus.
Yeah, well, it's a ton of work. Nikki?
Janet, thank you for Arbor Day. You do that every year.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And the Kiwanis Club for adding another one along the trail in the town. And everyone who helped dig the hole. The library is still looking for board members, so if there's anyone you think that may be a good fit for it, or yourself, please reach out to us. We have quarterly meetings, so it's 4 times a year, plus events, and we try to hold 1 per quarter, so it's not like it's not a lot of time, but it is needed to have the volunteers help us out. Next weekend, the weekend of the 17th through the 18th, we have a volunteer cleanup at the library, so if anyone is looking to help our community or volunteer between 10 and 1, which is the Saturday hours, we will not have stations, but we have different ideas of what need to be taken care of, so it's just yard work, maybe cleaning out the gutters and weeding the sidewalk and so on. So look for information on that on our Facebook page. I know there is a Google document that has things set up that you can choose what you would like to help with. And as Janet said, the last weekend of May, we have an arts festival, so we have music, arts, and poetry. And all that information will be online through our Champlain Kids Connected page, through the library, and through the meeting house.
Thank you. Chuck?
Just wanna thank the village crew for the cleanup work that they're in process of doing. The streets are looking good. It's nice that they've been able to take care of some of the trees that either rotted and have fell, or that need to be removed that are in the right of way. I know there are still some besides the trees that are gonna be professionally done. But I mean, they've been working at that, and it's good to see that things are being cleaned up.
Yeah.
So that's about it.
Joel?
I have nothing to report.
All right, thank you. Report from the clerk treasurer.
I don't have that for myself,
I think we can,
but you all,
I think we
everyone
can,
else has that.
yeah, I think we can do this. So, we'll do the project ones after. So we have some invoices that have been added to the warrant.
We have a warrant of $22,145.61, additional invoices $5,393.31 for a total of $27,538.92.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the warrant with the invoices added?
So,
And a second?
second.
Discussion? Any discussion on any of these? Okay, if there, I don't wanna rush you, are there any questions at all? All right, roll call?
Trustee Champlain,
Aye.
trustee Malinsky,
Aye.
trustee Connor,
Aye.
trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Mayor McFetrich.
Aye. All right, for the 2 projects, the main water line replacement and the wastewater disinfection.
Okay, I'll just do the first one, the water line first.
Sure.
Payment of $5,509 to fiscal advisors. Payment of $2,070 to Premier Printing, and payment of $5,455 to Oric Harrington Sutcliffe, for a total of $13,034.
May I have a motion to approve this payment? And is there a second? Second by Chuck. discussion or questions?
Okay, fiscal advisors,
Mm-hmm.
what are they doing?
That's the,
They helped us with the ban closing, with we had to renew the ban,
Okay,
and they
it kinda
Do
help
a
us
lot
with
of
all the
that.
different regulations.
Okay,
and-
paperwork and.
Yeah.
okay, and that's their name, fiscal advisors?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a little vague. Oric, Carrington, and Sutcliffe, sounds like attorneys?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
yes, exactly
And
right.
the
And,
oh gosh, I'm sorry.
and what are they doing?
They do all the paperwork and the publishing of things that we need in
In relation to
in
the
relation
water?
to the water line project.
Just names I hadn't seen before, so.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many regulations with, particularly with federal loans, that it is really hard to follow without this kind of professional help.
I think the ban renewal, the main document was like 90 pages long,
Oh,
and they
jeez.
send it to us to do all, signatures
They
and
do
all our
everything.
stuff, and then we have to
Yeah.
send it back, and
Mm-hmm.
they go over it again, make sure everything wrong, submit it to the banks, the bidding process to get the lowest interest rate. They do that bidding process as well, so they do a lot of that, ton of background work
I
that
just
gets this done.
hadn't seen the names before, didn't remember seeing them, so.
Now, we paid fiscal advisors
Yeah.
Okay.
quite a bit.
Didn't remember.
Premier Printing, I think this is the first time we've gotten a bill from them.
And what do
But
they do?
I think they work with, I'm not sure if they work with fiscal advisors or Oric, not sure.
Yeah, I'm
which
not
one
sure
they
either.
work with, but it's
Okay.
like they subcontract to one of those.
And the other thing about fiscal advisors and ORIC is just, they are so accessible. If you have a question and you call them, like, you get them right away.
Mhm.
They're really, really good to work with.
That's good.
Yeah. That's it. Okay, we have a motion, correct, and a second. Roll call?
Trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Malinsky, trustee Connor,
Aye.
trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Mayor McFetrich.
Aye.
Have for the wastewater disinfection improvements, $192.50 to Barton and Judas, $4,225.60 to Triangle Electric, and $13,303.50 to Triangle Electric, for a total of $17,721.60.
We have a motion to approve this.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any questions?
How close are we to getting this done?
That's what I was
We
gonna
have-
ask.
We have signed off of substantial completion, at least on part of it. Yes. We're
That's for
very close.
Triangle Electric, I think, with those
Yeah,
two that we had.
Those
submitted.
two we did, yeah.
So the pipes that are sitting up there on the ground, is that part of that project, or is that something completely separate?
It's not really part of that project, but it is something that has to be replaced, that we're going to replace.
And we're gonna do the work?
And we're gonna do the work,
Okay.
yes, yes. Roll call?
Trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Malinsky,
Aye.
trustee Connor,
Aye.
trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Mayor McFetrich.
Aye. All right, thanks, Mary. Report from the superintendent. Mike left his report for us. I don't know if you've all had time to read it. Most of the work is being done on the streets. And then there have been a couple of issues with the sewer. And then it seems like all of the vehicles have needed something. That's just how I'm gonna summarize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if one thing's running, something else isn't.
Right.
And then just the note at the bottom, because I believe Mike just sent this out. You know, when they notice, or Robert notices that the water usage is high, he tries to figure out why it's so high, and the So they're just asking the town highway to please let them know more often when water's being drawn, because they're drawing water right now to clean the roads.
And this has been going on for a while, and they
You know, it's been
just,
going on for a while, and, you know, I think they're just frustrated, because sometimes it could be a quick answer, yes, we drew water, and they feel like they just don't get that information.
So,
We've asked this before.
yeah, so here's. He sent something to the town supervisor, and I just wanna say this, that Mike needs to reach out to Alan Racine. The highway superintendent has no reporting accountability to the town supervisor. He is an entity unto himself. He reports to no one except the people. So Mike really, as the village superintendent, needs to work with Alan to get those numbers.
Okay,
I mean, I can continue to keep emailing Alan and he's not answering me, so but as superintendent to superintendent, they are the ones that should be working together on this.
okay,
That's how I feel.
yeah.
oh, you're right.
And he may be also reaching out to Alan. I don't know, but
I don't know.
I don't know.
If I want it and I'm lucky enough that I may get Sarah to go get it for me, I shouldn't be the one that has to do that. I mean, I get it so that I can get the information
Yeah, I
over
mean,
to
you
Mary.
need it too.
I need it as well, but really, I shouldn't have to be involved in that at all, because if they're getting frustrated, he really needs to be working with Alan on that.
Okay,
And the town supervisor has nothing to do with that,
Correct.
so Tom shouldn't be getting involved in that either.
okay.
Just,
All right.
I was scribbling some notes.
I will address that with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that way it's taking me out, because I'm not getting the information any faster either, so.
Well, you must be frustrated about this as well.
Well, it's only when I sit down to look at it that I go, oh, we haven't gotten anything, and then I start sending emails and,
But you could be looking at like 6 months prior and
Right,
not have
have
gotten
done,
anything.
yeah.
That's frustrating.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it should be more.
and I've asked that they do it, that they keep it in a notebook, it's handwritten. I've asked for it when they do it, I've asked that they say where they've taken it from. So, as a member of the water board, that's all I can do,
Yeah, okay.
but it really needs to be superintendent to superintendent.
Highway superintendent,
Yeah.
right, gotcha. Okay, I'll make sure that
Thank you.
that's expressed. All right. Any other comments on the superintendent's report?
Streets are looking great.
Yes, they are looking great. Yeah. All right, correspondence?
Correspondence from Montgomery Hose Hook and Ladder of Rouse's Point regarding annual banquet honoree Sean Lombard. Correspondence from Montgomery Hose Hook and Ladder of Rouse's Point regarding annual banquet honoree Charles LePan. Correspondence from Clinton County Highway regarding road striping. Correspondence from Clinton County Department of Personnel regarding new civil service application process. Correspondence from Champlain Fire Department regarding Knox boxes at commercial properties. Correspondence from Chris Trombley regarding repair of fire hydrant at 79 DeWatt Road.
Okay, so under new business, first, the food scrap program is moving right along. Both the Village of Champlain and the Town of Champlain are proceeding, and we are the first in the county, so that's pretty exciting. I did include in your packet, which I think you'd already seen before, but what can be put in the collection buckets. So for the public, it's things like meat scraps, fish, fats like butter, poultry, fruit, vegetables, eggshells, dairy products, unbleached napkins and unbleached coffee filters, grains and bread. The slogan is, when in doubt, leave it out. So if you're not sure, don't put it in. You can't put in cardboard or food packaging or pet waste, or pet food or yard debris. So we're having a kickoff, a food scrap program kickoff on May 28th. We're going to, because we have 2 collection areas, the town's is set for 11 a.m. and the villages will be 11:30 a.m. And we'll have, we have a little shed that will be set up, and it will be located at the old village dump site on Elm Street, and the containers will be inside there. There's a little lock on the shed, and so once you register, you're given the code to open that, unlock it. We'll have registration forms, we'll talk a little bit about it, and there will be some giveaways. So please come, May 28th at 11:30 for the village, at 11 for the town. Any other comments or questions on that? Primarily just information. Nothing from the board?
Well, I think it's a great program, and I know Tom was speaking with the gentleman, or whoever it is that he was working with, and he said the little stickers that come on all the fruits, he said that makes them crazy.
Yeah.
Like the banana
Yes.
peels, he said, so Tom said to me, when you get bananas, he goes, just pull those off right away.
Yes, that did come up, that the stickers, obviously, they have glue on them, so they're
Right.
not going to decompose very
Right.
easily, yeah. That did come up.
And it usually comes off better when stuff is fresh.
Yes, yeah. All right, the ash tree removal program, I did meet with the soil and water person about that, and all I can add is that the funds are going to continue to be available, but they haven't been released yet. As soon as they're released, there's going to be a press release to talk about the program. This woman said she would help with the tagging of the trees, and it will be professional crews that come in and do the work with that gigantic equipment. So it should go fairly quickly.
So they will, we don't need to get involved in finding a company to do it. Their
No.
Water and Soil's gonna take care of everything?
Yes,
Oh, that's great.
yeah, yes, yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully maybe they'll start in the summer or early fall. Okay, we can eliminate number 3 because that person didn't come. Committee reports. I mentioned at the last meeting that I just wanted to bring up committee reports, and I copied a copy of the committee reports for you because it's kind of sometimes hard to remember what committee you're on. And I circled the ones that I thought might have a report. So of course, can I find my copy of that? It's in here somewhere. No, that's all right. I've got this one. So, is there anything from streets and sidewalks?
I was just talking to Nikki about it, and I apologize. I sent Mike an email, and I forgot to copy Nikki on it, asking him what his thoughts are. My thought was finishing up downtown so that the sidewalks are uniform. They did such a great job on those last year that it would be nice now to get the other side done. And, I don't know how far up Main Street we could go, probably not very far, because I know once you start heading up past St. Mary's Hill, those sidewalks get very, very narrow.
Yes.
So, the other thing that I was thinking about, Church Street is starting to look pretty rough in some areas. And at some point, and I know nobody ever wants to talk about this, but at some point, we need to tackle Oak Street.
Yes, those sidewalks are really bad.
I mean, those are I've lived here my entire life, those are the same sidewalks that I used to ride my bike on, up and down, big humps in some people's driveways.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, did you hear anything from Mike?
No.
Okay. So your recommendation though is finish downtown as best we can at Church and Oak? Okay, all right, that's good to know,
And Nikki agreed.
thank you, thanks. Anything with equipment, tools, truck control?
I know there's been discussion about certain equipment that are needed, but, like a new mower, and, they just keep fixing the old one. I know it's an expensive, piece of equipment, but at some point, we're gonna have to do that, and we've been talking about that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So, and I know, and just in discussion with Mike and the guys, there's always something breaking down.
It certainly seems that way.
Yeah,
Mm.
things are getting fixed, but even with the new equipment, things are happening that shouldn't be happening.
I know.
I remember years ago, and I think I'm remembering this correctly, that Amy, maybe she worked with you, Chuck, on that committee, of setting up like a maintenance schedule for all of these pieces of equipment. And I thought it got implemented, but I'm wondering, it doesn't sound like they're maybe using it, it's being more reactive instead of proactive. That maybe if that had been implemented years ago and fell by the wayside, maybe it needs to be resurrected, and maybe we wouldn't be having so many breakdowns if things were being.
Well, I think things are looked at, but it's one of those things, yeah, we got it, and we're gonna do something, but then it kinda,
Yeah, but maybe
Goes
if
by
there
the
was, an accountability,
Mhm.
if you will,
Mhm.
of,
and there still may be something there.
Do you wanna look into that and see if there's
I can ask
some
Mike.
kind of maintenance plan or schedule, or, I mean,
Yes.
that makes a lot
I
of sense.
vaguely remember the guys talking about that there is,
and this was a long time ago.
well, no, I'm talking about recently.
Mm,
You know, like years ago, I don't know what
right,
transpired, I can't remember. But I know they've talked about that, you know, and Mike's talked about, there is things that are on a schedule, but whether they get done or not is another story.
right.
Yeah, maybe you could find out more about that.
I'll ask.
Okay, thank you. Building, property, Joel and Nikki. I don't know if there's anything right now.
Chris is pretty good at keeping up with all
Yeah.
The registry,
that. Yeah, the registry.
Oh, the registry, the vacant building registry, yeah, Chris and I talked about that, those will have to be sent out again.
Is it already a year?
Mm-hmm,
Oh, wow.
just about, I think it is just about a year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
That doesn't seem possible.
mm-hmm.
what are the thoughts, I mean, I'd have to revisit the structure of like how the payment or the fee structure is, but I don't know. I would think like over longer term, like recurrent payments, I feel like we should up them, but that's just me.
Yeah,
I thought there was.
There was, yeah.
there is an increase for years out. And, you know, I don't know what percent of compliance we even got the first year. Maybe it, I'm not sure, I'm not gonna say, but,
Maybe it's worth looking into then.
yeah, it's worth looking into, yeah.
So if,
And-
I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I was just, there was a, I don't know if it was a census marker or something from the last census, and I think this was the only place, municipality or village, or like entity, I think, in this entire area that seemed to go up in population. I think
It
we were up
did.
like,
Yeah,
We've gone up probably 200,
yeah.
we're up to 1,300 now,
Mhm. So,
yeah.
just one of those things to keep an eye on, cause it's just interesting, you know, there's a lot of investment, people that own property here, but then it always gets maintained.
Yeah, and the ones that are vacant need to, they need to do something, so we have more housing.
And people do need housing and want housing,
And
affordable.
they, affordable, and they want to live here. I mean, it's clear in terms of,
Yeah, like that building is like such a beautiful space too,
yeah.
spot to be.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question
Yeah.
on that? Were there any repercussions if you had vacant property and you didn't register it? So, is that Chris that follows up on that?
Yeah, that's Chris that follows up on
Okay,
it. And I think we all knew that it was going to be a tough thing to get going, so we're gonna have to work hard on it.
yeah, and it's revenue.
And its revenue. And it has resulted in some buildings being moved along a little bit, either, you know, on the market
Right.
or improved and, you know, people moving in. So it's worked a little bit, but not as much as we needed to see. Parks. I think I just asked about that corner park is what I was wondering, you know, what your thoughts
Yeah.
were.
Yeah,
They at least flattened it.
I even
It looks
noticed.
better. I go by it, I go by it several times a day.
So
Yeah.
we were in danger of our own code
Right.
officer giving us a violation. So,
It was pretty bad.
so we do have it flattened.
Did we ever find the exact boundaries?
Right, as my
Yeah.
discussion.
Well, more or less. We have a document that we're going to have to go by because that's all we have. Yes.
And I think we had a plan of planting some trees and,
Mhm.
or a tree
A tree.
and a bench,
And some
Yeah.
flowers or
plants,
something.
Well, I think the boundaries need to be outlined somehow,
yes.
whether it's by stones or bricks or whatever.
I think the big rocks like we have down at the playground along the road would define it nicely. You know, the boulders at the playground define that park on
Right.
the other two sides. Cause otherwise it's really close to being part of the driveway.
Right, that's what I'm,
And isn't there, does that driveway goes
yes.
right, yeah.
That's
what
how they use it,
That's
yes.
what I thought. Well, that may have to end.
Right,
It's,
so is that,
Just thinking of
That
sitting
driveway.
on the park bench, getting a nice whiff of exhaust.
the driveway part going on to Cedar Street, is that part of our lot?
Probably.
because that would have been the driveway, I would assume, for the
For
house
the
that
was
burned
there?
down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yes. You have that right. So I'm thinking boulders might
Yeah.
be an
And there's
idea.
sidewalks, right? On both sides,
Yeah,
from Cedar.
yeah,
and
the
Cedar.
sidewalk that comes to the stop sign on Cedar Street might be missing.
What about some sort of, what did we say, quincentennial?
Semi.
Oh, the semi,
200,
Same-
250
same
years,
same
what about
quincentennial.
something we could maybe think of some sort of plaque or some sort of
Well, it's not the
acknowledgement?
village, it's,
yeah,
The
but we
nation.
could almost, if the timing was
Yeah,
right, we maybe could do like a little dedication and tie it to something like that, something historic, I don't know.
The year it was created,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
hopefully.
yeah. Okay, and I don't think anything else really. Planning board,
there's meeting, we're gonna be meeting next week, is it?
Yeah.
Next Wednesday,
okay, and
on one of the new businesses that's coming into the village
okay,
to revise the building plan.
okay. And zoning board, they haven't met recently, I just will say that, Chris Matot and I have been talking a lot about needing to make some changes in our, zoning codes. There's some that are just too restrictive, there's some that just don't really make sense, they don't promote housing, so the zoning board's going to have to take that on at some point, and Chris will, and the lawyer will work with them on that. And for Champlain Fire District, they did have a wonderful celebration Saturday night, as I said, there were, maybe Mary can help me if I get this wrong, there were 3 award winners. Were you there? Caleb Trombley, Jackson, Baker,
Ditson Baker, yeah.
and, oh no,
I can't think of the third person.
I can picture him.
Oh, yeah, I know who it is.
And there was one other young man,
He was a junior,
yeah.
a junior firefighter.
Well, I'm going to, I am going to get this in our next meeting, and I will officially, congratulate
Congratulate
him, yes. So I
Joe
apologize for
Delaire.
that.
Joe Delaire.
Joe Delaire,
Oh, Joe,
that's-
yes, Joe Delaire, and Joe Delaire. So, thank you, 3, congratulations, all very, very well deserved. And thank you for inviting us to that, that was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was.
All right, moving right along here, we discussed the Knox Box local law. I think everyone agrees it sounds like a great idea. We'll work with the town on putting a local law together. Comprehensive plan update I mentioned in my report, but it's just really important that the public come to the visioning workshop. That's next week. We really, really need to hear what you want life like in the village and the town of Champlain. All right, fire pits. Good grief, do I have too many papers here or what? All right, so this is the time of year when we lift the moratorium on the fire pits. And last year we went from May 19th to October 13th. So if we stick with the same time of year, I say that would be May 18th to October 12th.
Well, wouldn't you rather start it on the 17th, which is a Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know why we did it that way, but it's fine. It's whatever.
What is the county?
15. Is the evening.
We probably, maybe we started it at the beginning of the week, Sunday, I don't know why, but the following weekend is Memorial
Yeah,
Day, and we
exactly.
definitely want that covered.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if you'd rather start it on, this Friday, the 17th, whatever the board wants to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the.
Yeah, I'm ready for it too.
I know, and I think the good weather might be arriving. Okay, so May 17th, which is a Saturday. And as far as October goes, would you rather carry it through Columbus Day and go to the 13th?
I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Cause I know last year there were some nice days later in the season.
Yeah, all right, so I would need a motion to allow the recreational fire pits from May 17th to October 13th, 2025.
I make that motion.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, and I would just reiterate what Chris Matot said in his report for the public. Even if you've had one before, get the form and write same as last year, or if you have changes, put your changes in. Okay, and then drop it off here. We'll have them available online, but they'll also be available here, paper copies. So if you want one by Saturday, this is Monday of the week, come this week and get it, okay? .gov.
I'm prepared.
Are you prepared for .gov?
Yes, I just turned in my paperwork for my fire pit.
Oh.
I came prepared, I had an
Oh my
auto
gosh.
bell.
Wow. Okay, so .gov is it's a new local government law effective December 21st, 2025, that all cities, villages, towns, and counties with at least 1,500 residents must have a website with a .gov domain. So, we are under that. All right. However, in addition, municipalities with fewer than 1,500 residents will be required to create and maintain such a website to the extent practicable. All right, so Mary and I have talked about this, and did you sign up for that?
Yeah, I
She
did.
signed up for a webinar on it. They want to make sure that we're posting everything that we should be posting, so budget, minutes, agenda, public hearing notices, anything that is official coming out of this office. We don't technically need the .gov domain, although if our population increases, we will. But we probably should work towards it at least. So that's all I can tell you about it right now. Mary probably understands it a little better than I do.
Yeah, I mean, we do most of the things that are required already, and if we're not, then we can always add on to what we're doing. Just before we got this information, I'd actually gotten 2 marketing companies that do this exact thing that came to us in the village, and they create the website, they help you get the .com. They make it easy for you to go in and make your changes. They don't have to do it for you. I don't have prices on that yet. I wanted to take the webinar to find out really how far they want smaller municipalities to go when they say reasonably to the extent practical. What does that mean exactly?
Mm-hmm.
Can we do it without the .gov?
Right.
And just keep doing as much as we can without having to take on additional costs. The one of them at the bottom says, modern municipal website starting at just $99 a month. So would be a minimum maintenance fee for us, something like that.
The public libraries also have had to update all of their public information, more than just their website. And because the village, or the library has a Google email, there is a Google site we can use for free, and I've updated that and put pretty much everything that they're looking for on there, yeah. So it's sites.google.com, something like that, and yeah, you can create a page, put pictures on, videos, links. So I've put all our policies, all our minutes in the last year on there, our agendas, board information, hours of the library, so everything's on there, even a link to the website to search for books and request books, so,
Wow.
yeah. It's
Oh,
pretty
that's
simple to use.
And that's for free,
It's for free.
at least right now.
Yeah, it's through Google,
Mhm.
we have a Gmail, so, yeah.
Hmm.
Just a thought.
Just wonder if you could set up the .gov website and then use this, what do you say, sites.google.com
Yeah,
to maintain it.
maybe, right?
Once you
Yeah.
get the .gov,
Yeah.
the formal, this
Right.
formal, title to it, if you could actually use that to do that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Just
And something to look into too.
So probably we'll just have you report on what that webinar was, and then I'll go from there.
Okay.
I think it's a good time to update our website anyway, so, I think it's gonna be good to look into probably moving forward a little bit on it. It's just the cost, what's the cost? Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right now, the person who does a lot of those updates, I mean, we pay her $25 a month unless
Yeah.
she's
Minimum.
going above and beyond to do something
Mm-hmm.
more substantial. But, so we're paying really minimal right now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she has been very responsive, and she does do a good job. Any other questions on the .gov? All right, missing anything besides we have to,
Planning and zoning board appointments.
oh, I'm still looking at my old one, yes, oh gosh. All right, so I just want to announce that Lois McClurg is going to serve on the zoning board of appeals. And Christopher Velardo is going to be on the planning board. And Greg Martin will move to the, what's it called? The
Vice chair?
no, oh my gosh, I'm just blanking on that word. The
The
one that will,
substitute in
the
case someone else-
substitute member of
An
the planning
alternate.
board. So he was
Alternate.
on the planning
Alternate.
board, he'll be an alternate. And Christopher Velardo will be on the planning board, so those two appointments are made. So we have two full boards.
Okay.
Yes, yes. All right, and then under old business, purchase of the fire station, I'm sorry to say, I still have no information on that. We do have to have a meeting for our end of May meeting, to wrap up the books. I don't know what your schedules are like.
Well, the comprehensive plan workshop.
The last week of May, the 26th is a holiday. I don't know about the 27th,
I have an appointment at
you have an appointment. The 28th, a Wednesday. This meeting doesn't usually take too long. It's Wednesday, the 28th,
I can do any time, yeah,
okay.
I'm free. I just have to remember to show up.
Well, I'll text you.
We'll send you
That would be
an
it.
email.
I'm writing it in my schedule, yeah, yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Is email better or texting better?
Texting's probably better, yeah.
Okay.
6:30?
I think we could go earlier if people are available.
I can do any time, yeah.
Is five too early?
That's gonna
Not
be,
for me.
that's too early for me. I mean, they have a haircut at 4 here. It's tough.
You don't wanna change those appointments.
Oh, I don't
So
change
you
those
can't
appointments
It's
again.
gonna be probably. a
Mine's the
couple of
following
hours
day,
this time.
so
So it's, probably
5:30?
closer to 6.
6?
Yeah.
Okay,
It takes-
6 p.m.?
It takes your time.
Is that good, Chuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
6 p.m.
Okay, the 28th at 6. We'll be able to talk about our food scrap kickoff.
Right,
Good, cause I'll be at work that day, and I won't be able to attend.
I'm sorry.
Janet,
Yeah,
can I ask you, you said May 28th, there's 2 collection areas, their meeting for the town is 11:30, where is that?
at the town.
Yeah.
Town's at 11.
And the same with,
Town's allowed.
11:30 is ours, and that's at the, across from the library,
okay, at the old dump site.
at the old dump site.
that's not where the meeting is. What the meeting is.
The food scrap,
Food
Oh,
scrap.
that's where the meeting is gonna be?
the food scrap.
The food scrap.
Oh,
At
it's gonna be right
11:30.
there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We
okay.
are going to practice.
Mhm.
Like, I'm gonna bring some old spinach.
I am excited for this,
I seriously am.
because when Tom first talked to me about it, I'm like, oh, I hope the village does that, because I look at the stuff, you know, you get old salad, right?
Mhm.
Goes in the garbage can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna put it out for the bunnies, because I'll get other things.
Yeah, uh-huh,
True.
yeah.
So I'm really
I am
excited
too.
about that.
I am. And I like the fact that we're the first and we went ahead with it. That's great.
Yep,
Yeah.
and maybe when other communities see that the town and the village are doing it,
Mhm.
I don't know if Ross's Point's gonna do it or not,
Not yet.
but maybe it will, you know, maybe you'll get some inquiries, like how's it
Yeah.
going and how's it
Mhm.
working, and do you have any problems, and
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
think
it's a
it's gonna
great
be
program.
great.
The health department is really promoting it. It's just a great program.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
starting it.
I am too. All right, I don't have anything else. Do any of you?
No,
Is there a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
So,
And a
Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.